All right, all right. First of all, what people gotta understand about phenotypes, being a particular set of characteristics, your phenotype come from your genotype. And everybody on this planet has their own genetic agenda, which comes out as your psychological agenda. And we're being confused because religion keep telling us God made us all the same and the Bible is all one. When Caucasian people are only 6,000 years old, and we're billions, if not trillions. We actually don't even know our age. I don't even think we from this planet, honestly, due to research. But that's another bill. So with that being said, coming back to phenotypes, and we talking about what is the top phenotypes, it's only one true phenotype, which is human. Every other phenotype, which you want to go to mongoloid, caucasoid, etc., without going down the list, they don't even count to me. I don't count those. Y'all are hybrid entities. You don't go to the pop machine and mix the high C with the Sprite and then call it a pop. It's not a pop, it's a hybrid. And what's the pops was already in the slot. So what was already in the genetic slot was African people with that mitochondrial Eve gene. Everything else is an extraterrestrial created manufactured person. I call them GMO people. Then a lot of these phenotypes and things like that are not what we once thought them to be, or not what we thought them to be. We gotta understand everybody on the planet Earth basically is extraterrestrials. Like black people, we have genes that are not even from this planet, 147 to be exact. So we have genealogical parts of ourselves that either the information has not been dispensed to the public, or it's not able to be studied because we don't have anything to compare it to. So what we have to understand is when we're talking about a human organism, or a person, a humanoid person type entity, everybody is a different species literally. So white people are their own species, black people are their own species, Chinese people are their own species, etc. Hispanic people, a mixture of species, are their own species. But I don't consider a lot of these entities as uh natural entities. So when we say, even human, mongoloid, and etc., really, technically, the mongoloid is the, let's say, at the top of the totem pole for all other races. So really, it's only human and Neanderthal. Like even Caucasians are genetically dead Asians. Cauc means the word cauc, corp is dead, and then Asian is Asia. So Caucasians technically still is to a certain degree a mongoloid. So you know what I'm saying? What we doing is we tricking ourselves with all these big words. People's ancestry.com is full of crap. That's only 0.1% accurate. So once again, we talking about phenotypes. How they giving you your phenotype where the genetic accuracy to trace somebody's ancestors is almost impossible as far as comparing who was with who. You only get 0.1 accuracy because you get your DNA passed down from your mother. So you don't get the chromosome, you get the mitochondrial DNA, which is on the outside of the nucleus. So technically, you are the child of your mother, not your father. So once again, science is constructed towards a patriarchal mind. So now when we say Neanderthal, the first thing we think of is a Caucasian or something, but you don't think that the melanated people over there that's still in our culture doing all that yoga is a Neanderthal because they black. And the first thing somebody will say is, "Look, we've been over here. They black over. Them not Africans. Those is not Aboriginal. Those is the original Neanderthals that came to this planet." Okay. So with that being said, from the albino Dravidian, this is the process, and I did an entire lecture on. I'm gonna give it to you now. The albino Dravidian is where the Caucasian and the Chinaman comes from. Take an albino Dravidian and you separate their strands of DNA using what is called an eco-R1 enzyme. Now, the eco-R1 enzyme separates the ends of the DNA, creating them into what is called sticky ends. And then through a process known as electric shocking, you splice these two strands of DNA back, and then you artificially implant it into a womb, and it grows into an organism. This is the exact process of how they created the hybrid pig. So it's called genetic splicing, genetic engineering. It happens every day. They splice people every day. It's nothing new. It's only new to you if you live in imaginary land. So that being said, from the Dravidian, all other races of people were spliced. And then from this original source, now we have all of these subgroups being created, which technically are all just one hybrid artificial variant after the other, the original. So once again, when we say the Neanderthal, and then we say, what is a Dravidian? A Dravidian is the original Neanderthal. And this is what I mean as far as how important it is for us to have a grasp back on science and ourselves, because we get the developing perspectives of people outside of groups that they really go into, and then some of them don't go into groups that they should. So this is what I'm saying. There, a lot of these phenotypes are just they're ways to try to hide the origins of all non-African people, and really it's only one. Like I don't really like to put people on a genetic totem pole that they not on. This is not about racism or black supremacy or nothing like that. This is about science. So it is a scientific fact that all non-Africans are not full human beings. They're only a maximum of 93% human beings, 7% Neanderthals. It's a scientific fact that Caucasian people share 98% of their DNA with chimps. So a lot of this stuff is not included in the phenotype statistics when you go to look it up. So a lot of that, like you don't really hear me imprint that in people's heads because it's not right and exact. So when I touch on the subject, I'm gonna let you know you're human or you're not. You can create whatever words you want to. You can be a mongoloid, you can be a negroid, you can be a caucasoid, you can be any of that. But at the end of the day, all of those stem from the same branch. So, and then here we are. And then all of these other races create what you call haplogroups. And it's 167 different types of haplogroups. And haplogroups is just a different genetic formats that you can create due to two different people sexually reproducing. So let's just say if a black man and a Chinese woman have a baby, that might be haplogroup 1 or A. And then if a black man and a white woman have a baby, that might be haplogroup B. So there's been so much hybrid genetics introduced to the African bloodline that there's now 167 different variables of possible humans that you can create. So when we say, phenotypes, people don't understand there's really so many different people on this planet today, and it's all from extraterrestrial origins. So even when we say human, what makes you a human?